Every morning, millions of people over 60 do something so ordinary they never think twice about it. They eat breakfast. They drink their coffee. They go about their day. Nothing feels wrong. Nothing feels dangerous. But quietly, inside your body, your kidneys may already be working harder than they should. They work silently, hour after hour, filtering your blood and clearing out waste without ever asking for thanks. You cannot feel them straining. You cannot taste the waste slowly building up in your blood. And that is exactly what makes this so serious. By the time you actually notice a problem, your kidneys may have already lost a significant amount of their function. Most people brush off the early signs as just getting older. Morning fatigue that coffee doesn't fix, swollen ankles by evening, waking up 2 or 3 times a night to use the bathroom, a fog in your thinking that wasn't there before, a heaviness in your legs you can't quite explain. But that's only part of the story. The frightening part is this. Certain everyday foods quietly raise creatinine levels and place extra strain on your GFR, the number that reflects how well your kidneys are actually filtering your blood. You cannot see it happening. You cannot smell it. But over time, this hidden strain adds up. Now, here is the hopeful part. Your kidneys are more resilient than most people realize. Research suggests that certain ordinary vegetables, the kind already sitting in your kitchen, may help support healthy kidney function, ease the workload on your kidneys, and help your body manage creatinine more efficiently. Not a miracle, not medication, just simple, realistic choices your doctor would nod along to. Of course, this is not medical advice, and it never replaces your doctor or your lab results. But understanding your food choices is something entirely within your control. Today, I'm walking you through 5 vegetables researchers believe may gently protect aging kidneys, especially after 60, when kidney function naturally begins to slow. So stay with me, because vegetable number 1 might already be sitting in your refrigerator right now, and almost nobody realizes just how powerful it truly is. Right there, in your crisper drawer, sitting next to the lettuce, or maybe rolled into the back of your fridge, is a vegetable most people walk right past. Red bell peppers. They don't look like much. No fancy name, no expensive price tag. Just a bright, shiny vegetable that ends up in stir-fries and salads without anyone giving it a second thought. But here's what almost nobody tells you. Red bell peppers are one of the few vegetables that are naturally low in potassium. And for kidneys that are starting to slow down after 60, that detail matters more than you might think. Let me explain why. When you're young, your kidneys handle potassium without any trouble. They filter it out, balance it, and move on with their day. But as kidneys age, especially once GFR starts dropping, they lose some of that filtering power. Potassium can start to build up in the blood instead of being cleared out the way it should. And when that happens quietly, over months or years, it adds one more burden to kidneys that are already working overtime. This is where red bell peppers quietly step in. Unlike potatoes, bananas, or tomatoes, which are often praised for being healthy but are actually high in potassium, red bell peppers give you big flavor and real nutrition without loading your kidneys down. Think of it like asking someone to carry a backpack. A backpack full of bricks is exhausting. A backpack that's light and well packed is easy to carry all day. That's the difference between a high potassium vegetable and a low potassium one from your kidney's point of view. But that's not the only reason red bell peppers deserve a spot on your plate. They are also rich in vitamin C, far more than an orange, ounce for ounce. Vitamin C is an antioxidant, meaning it helps calm down inflammation in the body. And inflammation, quiet and invisible, is one of the hidden forces that can wear down kidney tissue over time. Less inflammation may mean less strain on the delicate filtering units inside your kidneys, called nephrons. Now, portion size matters here, just like with anything else. You don't need an entire bowl of peppers to see a benefit. A simple guideline many doctors recommend is about half a cup to 1 cup of chopped red bell pepper a few times a week. That's roughly the size of your closed fist. Small, manageable, and easy to fit into a normal day. As for how you prepare them, this part is simple too. Light sautéing in a small amount of olive oil helps preserve their nutrients while making them easier to digest. Roasting works well too, especially if you enjoy a little natural sweetness. What you want to avoid is deep frying or drowning them in heavy salty sauces, because excess sodium puts its own kind of pressure on your kidneys, working against the very benefit you're trying to get. Here's a common mistake people make. They assume all peppers are the same. Green bell peppers are milder in nutrients. Red bell peppers, because they've fully ripened on the vine, carry more vitamin C and more antioxidants. So if you've been reaching for the green ones out of habit, this might be the moment to switch. For an easy, practical meal idea, try this. Slice 1 red bell pepper thin, sauté it lightly with a small amount of olive oil, a pinch of garlic, and a handful of chopped onions. Serve it alongside grilled chicken or fold it into scrambled eggs at breakfast. Simple, kidney-conscious, and something your taste buds will actually enjoy. Of course, this is general information, not medical advice, and if you already have kidney concerns, it's always smart to check with your doctor before making major changes to your diet. But red bell peppers are just the beginning, because vegetable number 2 works in a completely different way. Instead of simply avoiding harm, this next one may actually help your body flush out toxins more efficiently, something researchers have been paying closer attention to in recent years. And you probably already have it in your kitchen too. If red bell peppers were the vegetable hiding in plain sight, this next one is the vegetable people overlook because it seems almost too plain to matter. Cauliflower. It doesn't have the bright color of peppers. It doesn't get the attention that kale or spinach get in health articles. But for kidneys that are quietly aging, cauliflower may be doing more behind the scenes than almost any other vegetable in your kitchen. Here's why it matters so much after 60. Cauliflower is naturally low in potassium and low in phosphorus, 2 minerals that become harder for aging kidneys to manage. You already learned how potassium can build up when GFR slows down. Phosphorus works in a similar way. When kidneys are healthy, they filter out extra phosphorus with ease. But when filtering slows, phosphorus can start to accumulate, and over time, this may pull calcium out of your bones and place extra pressure on blood vessels. It's one of those hidden processes you can't feel happening, which is exactly why prevention matters so much. Cauliflower gives your body a way to eat full, satisfying meals without adding to that phosphorus load. But there's more to the story. Cauliflower is also rich in a compound called sulforaphane. It sounds technical, but think of it simply as a natural helper for your body's detox system. Sulforaphane may support the liver's ability to break down toxins before they ever reach your kidneys, meaning your kidneys have less waste to filter in the first place. Picture your kidneys as workers on an assembly line. The less clutter that arrives at their station, the smoother and longer they can keep working without wearing out. This is also a good moment for a mini hook, because here's something most people never realize. Cauliflower can be prepared in ways that mimic starchy comfort foods, like mashed potatoes or rice, without the potassium and carbohydrate load those foods carry. That means people can enjoy familiar comfort meals while quietly supporting their kidneys at the same time. Now let's talk about how much you actually need. A reasonable portion is about 1 cup of cooked cauliflower a few times a week. That's roughly the size of a baseball. You don't need to eat it every single day, and more isn't automatically better. Balance is the goal, not extremes. As for preparation, steaming is one of the best methods because it softens the vegetable while preserving its nutrients. Roasting is another excellent option, especially with a light drizzle of olive oil and herbs like thyme or rosemary instead of salt-heavy seasoning blends. What you want to avoid is store-bought cauliflower rice or frozen mixes loaded with added sauces, since many of these are surprisingly high in sodium, which works directly against your kidney health goals. Here's a mistake many people make without realizing it. They boil cauliflower for too long, which causes many of its beneficial compounds to leach into the water and go straight down the drain. If you boil it, always use the least amount of water possible and for the shortest time needed, just until it's fork tender. For a simple practical meal idea, try mashed cauliflower. Steam the florets until soft, then blend them with a small amount of olive oil, a touch of garlic and a pinch of black pepper. It has the same comforting texture as mashed potatoes, but with far less potassium and phosphorus, making it a smart swap for anyone watching their kidney health. And once again, this is general guidance, not a replacement for medical advice. If you're managing an existing kidney condition, your doctor or a renal dietitian can help you fine-tune portions based on your specific lab numbers. But cauliflower and red bell peppers are only two pieces of a bigger picture, because vegetable number 3 brings something completely different to the table. This one has been quietly studied for its ability to support healthy blood pressure, and considering how closely blood pressure and kidney health are connected, what researchers have found may surprise you. You probably have this next one sitting in a bowl on your counter right now, or tucked into a mesh bag in your pantry. Garlic. It seems too ordinary to matter. Just a small papery bulb you toss into recipes for flavor. But garlic has quietly earned attention from researchers for one very specific reason, and it connects directly to something that matters enormously for aging kidneys: blood pressure. Here's why that connection is so important. Your kidneys and your blood pressure are tied together in a way most people never think about. Every minute of every day, your kidneys filter blood under a certain amount of pressure. When that pressure stays in a healthy range, filtering happens smoothly. But when blood pressure runs high, especially over months and years, it can damage the tiny blood vessels inside your kidneys, the ones responsible for filtering waste. Think of it like a garden hose. A gentle, steady flow of water waters the plants just fine, but crank the pressure up too high, too often, and eventually the hose wears thin and starts to leak. That's very similar to what happens inside aging kidneys under chronic high blood pressure. This is where garlic may offer real support. Garlic contains a compound called allicin, which is released when garlic is chopped, crushed, or chewed. Research suggests allicin may help relax blood vessels slightly, which can support healthier blood pressure levels. When blood pressure is better managed, your kidneys don't have to filter blood under constant excess strain. Less pressure, less wear, over time. Here's a mini hook worth pausing on. Garlic doesn't just support blood pressure, it's also naturally low in potassium and phosphorus, meaning it fits well into a kidney-conscious diet without adding the burden that many other flavorful ingredients bring along with them. Now, portion size with garlic is a little different than with vegetables like peppers or cauliflower, simply because garlic is so concentrated. Most research points to about 1 to 2 cloves a day as a reasonable amount for general support. That's a small amount, easy to work into almost any meal without needing to eat large quantities. As for preparation, here's something many people don't know. Crushing or chopping garlic and then letting it sit for about 10 minutes before cooking allows more allicin to form, which may boost its benefits. Cooking it immediately after chopping reduces this effect. Gently sautéing garlic in olive oil rather than deep frying or burning it helps preserve its beneficial compounds while still bringing out its rich, comforting flavor. Here's a common mistake worth mentioning. Many people rely on garlic powder or pre-minced garlic in jars for convenience, but these often contain added preservatives and offer less allicin than fresh garlic. When possible, fresh cloves are the better choice for kidney-conscious eating. Another mistake is assuming that more garlic automatically means more benefit. Very large amounts, especially in supplement form, can sometimes interact with blood-thinning medications or cause digestive discomfort. This is exactly the kind of thing worth mentioning to your doctor, especially if you take any prescription medications regularly. For a simple, practical meal idea, try this. Sauté 2 cloves of fresh minced garlic in olive oil until just golden. Then toss it with steamed cauliflower or sautéed red bell peppers, the very vegetables we already talked about. Together, they build a simple, flavorful, kidney-conscious side dish that doesn't feel like diet food at all. As always, this is educational information, not medical advice, and anyone on blood pressure medication or blood thinners should check with their doctor before significantly increasing garlic intake. Garlic supports the pressure side of kidney health, but there's another piece of this puzzle we haven't touched yet. One that has to do with hydration, inflammation, and a vegetable that's nearly 95% water. Vegetable number 4 might be the simplest one yet, and also one of the most underestimated. Of all the vegetables on this list, this next one might seem too simple to matter. Cucumber, crisp, watery, often pushed to the side of the salad plate without much thought. But that simplicity is exactly what makes it so valuable for aging kidneys. Here's why. Cucumbers are almost 95% water. That might sound unremarkable at first, but hydration plays a bigger role in kidney health than most people realize, especially after 60. As we age, our sense of thirst naturally becomes less sharp. Many older adults go through the day mildly dehydrated without ever feeling thirsty enough to notice. And when the body doesn't have enough water, the kidneys have to work harder to filter the same amount of waste through a smaller volume of fluid. It's a bit like trying to rinse dishes with just a trickle of water instead of a full, steady stream. The job still gets done, but it takes more effort and more strain. Cucumbers offer a gentle way to support hydration through food, not just through drinking water alone. But there's a second reason cucumbers deserve a spot on this list, and it has to do with something researchers have been paying closer attention to lately: inflammation. Cucumbers contain antioxidants, including compounds called flavonoids, that may help calm inflammation in the body. You already learned earlier how ongoing low-level inflammation can quietly wear down kidney tissue over time. Cucumbers won't erase inflammation on their own, but as part of a balanced plate, they may help take some of that daily burden off your kidneys. Here's a small but meaningful mini-hook. Cucumbers are also one of the lowest potassium vegetables you can eat, which makes them an easy, safe choice for people already watching their mineral intake closely. Now let's talk about how much makes sense. A reasonable portion is about 1 cup of sliced cucumber, which fits easily into a salad, a sandwich, or eaten on its own as a light snack. Because cucumbers are so low in calories and gentle on the body, there's a lot of flexibility here compared to some of the other vegetables we've discussed. As for preparation, cucumbers are best eaten raw, since cooking doesn't really improve them and can break down some of their water content and nutrients. If you enjoy pickled cucumbers, this is a place to pause. Traditional pickles are often loaded with sodium, and too much salt puts direct pressure on both blood pressure and kidney function. If you love that tangy flavor, look for low-sodium pickled options or make a quick version at home using vinegar, a small amount of salt, and fresh herbs instead of a heavily salted brine. Here's a mistake many people make without realizing it. They peel cucumbers completely, tossing away the skin, but the skin holds a good portion of the fiber and some of the antioxidants. If the cucumber is fresh and well washed, leaving some of the skin on can add extra benefit. Just be sure to wash it thoroughly, especially if it isn't organic. For a simple, practical meal idea, try a light cucumber and red bell pepper salad. Slice both vegetables thin, add a small drizzle of olive oil, a splash of lemon juice, and a pinch of black pepper. It's refreshing, hydrating, and pulls together 2 of the vegetables we've already talked about into one easy dish. As always, this is general information. And if you're managing fluid restrictions due to an existing kidney condition, it's worth checking with your doctor about how much water-rich food fits into your specific plan. Cucumber handles hydration and gentle inflammation support. But there's one vegetable left, and researchers believe it may be the most powerful of all five, not because of what it adds to your plate, but because of a very specific compound most people have never even heard of. Vegetable number 5 is coming up next, and it might change the way you think about your weekly grocery list. We've saved this last one for a reason. Out of all 5 vegetables, red cabbage may carry the most concentrated dose of a specific compound researchers have been studying closely in recent years, one connected directly to kidney protection. That compound is called anthocyanin, and it's the same pigment responsible for red cabbage's deep purple color. Here's why that matters so much after 60. Anthocyanins are a powerful type of antioxidant, and research suggests they may help protect delicate tissue, including the tiny blood vessels inside your kidneys, from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is simply a buildup of unstable molecules called free radicals, which can damage cells over time if the body doesn't have enough antioxidants to keep them in check. Aging naturally increases this kind of wear and tear. Think of oxidative stress like rust slowly forming on metal left out in the rain. It doesn't happen overnight, but left unchecked it adds up. Anthocyanins act a bit like a protective coating, helping to slow that process down. This is also where red cabbage connects back to everything we've already talked about. Like the other vegetables on this list, red cabbage is naturally low in potassium and phosphorus, making it easy on kidneys that are already working harder than they used to. But it goes a step further, because early research suggests anthocyanins may also help support healthy blood vessel function throughout the body, working alongside the blood pressure benefits we discussed with garlic. Here's a small mini hook worth noting. The more vibrant and deeply colored the cabbage, the more anthocyanins it typically contains. So when you're at the store, reaching for the darkest, richest purple head of cabbage isn't just about appearance. It may actually reflect a higher antioxidant content. Now let's talk portion size. About 1 cup of shredded red cabbage a few times a week is a reasonable and easy amount to work into meals. That's roughly a handful and a half, easy to add to salads, slaws, or light stir-fries without overhauling your entire diet. As for preparation, light cooking or eating it raw both preserve its antioxidants well. Steaming briefly or a quick sauté in olive oil works nicely. What you want to avoid is boiling it for a long time, since many of the beneficial pigments leach out into the water, much like we discussed with cauliflower. Here's a common mistake. Many people only think of red cabbage as a garnish or a small topping for tacos, using just a few shreds here and there. But to get a meaningful amount of anthocyanins, it helps to treat it as an actual side dish, not just a decoration. For a simple, practical meal idea, try a light red cabbage slaw. Shred 1 cup of red cabbage, toss it with a small drizzle of olive oil, a splash of apple cider vinegar, and a pinch of black pepper. Let it sit for 10 minutes before eating. It pairs beautifully with grilled chicken, fish, or alongside the garlic sautéed vegetables from earlier in this list. And just like every vegetable we've covered today, this is general information, not medical advice. If you have an existing kidney condition, your doctor and a renal dietitian can help you build a plan suited to your specific lab numbers and needs. So there you have it. 5 simple, everyday vegetables: red bell peppers, cauliflower, garlic, cucumber, and red cabbage, that researchers believe may gently support healthy kidney function, ease the workload on aging kidneys, and help the body manage creatinine more efficiently over time. None of these are miracle cures. None of them replace your doctor or your lab results. but they represent something powerful in their own quiet way, choices that are fully within your control, sitting right there in your kitchen, waiting to be used a little differently starting today. If this video helped you see your grocery list in a new light, consider sharing it with someone you love who could use this information too. And if you want more simple science-backed ways to protect your health after 60, make sure you're subscribed because there's more valuable guidance coming your way soon. So tomorrow's grocery run, just toss a red bell pepper or a few garlic cloves into your cart. That small choice is the real lesson here. Protecting your kidneys doesn't require anything drastic, just quiet, steady care through food you already enjoy. Your kidneys have been working for you every single day without complaint, and now you know how to work for them too. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If this gave you something useful, give it a like, and please share it with someone over 60 who needs this. Subscribe for more simple health tips like this one. Take care, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.